Miss Pat is one of those people that you can go to with just about anything. She's not going to judge you. You know, she doesn't see color or race or age or gender or anything like that. I know when we were young and teenagers, we were kind of rebellious. So things that we couldn't go to with our parents, we could go to her, and we knew that she would help us find a solution to our problems.
Just her enthusiasm and, encouragement to the kids. Just the way she taught them and the way she came across made the kids want to do well. And so they did, because they wanted to please her so much.
If everyone could see the world like Miss Pat does, I don't think there would be as many problems in society as there are today. She just doesn't care about things like that. Miss Pat is an awesome swim coach, and all of the kids love her. She always says the first day of swimming lessons, both kids and parents will be afraid of her. By the second day of lessons, the parents will still be afraid of her, but the kids will be a little bit more used to her. By the third day of lessons, all the kids love her, but the parents will always be afraid of her. But once they get to team, she says that, but then when we get to swim team, those are the parents that have been around for years.
It's a huge family.
And, we're a family, and the parents love her.
Mm-hmm. She always says how all the parents think she's a big toughie, with all the kids, and then you see the kids just sitting around, and they're all looking at her and goofing off, and she really is a big marshmallow with the kids. She would do anything for those kids, and she does do everything she can for those kids.
When Miss Pat was teaching swimming lessons, it's been 25 years ago, probably 22 years ago, at Riverbend Pool. So it was outside. And my son was probably 3, and she made the parents leave because the kids would see the parents and cry and want to go see the parents. But I didn't want to leave because I wanted to see what he was doing because he was upset. So my friend Melinda and I stood behind the bush and just crouched and peeped around the corner of the bush to watch our kids in the pool. And Pat just worked her magic with them, and they stopped crying and did everything she told them to do.
My first belief is that a child can never give you what you expect of him if he doesn't know what that is. They can't. Second of all, children will do much better if the parents are nowhere around. We run a real no-nonsense program, and as you saw, we can line up 6 or 8 2-year-olds, and they'll sit right there. They will sit right there. Because they know they've been told to. You don't run in here because you're going to fall and get hurt. The rules are all there because you're going to get hurt if you don't listen to me. If you get up and start to run, you're going to get hurt. If you don't sit up there and you fall in, you're going to get hurt. I'm not going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. I didn't start swimming until I was in my 30s, so I didn't have a history, a swimming background. When I started the league here in town, when I started this little swim league that we have here in town now, which is, now it's 6 teams, I guess. We just started as a little intramural team up here at River Bend, and then the next summer I conned the Y into, they had a little pool out here at Harbor Town before they built the Y, into swimming a meet with us. First time I had a meet, I made up the forms. I didn't know anything about it. I'd never been to a swim meet. I didn't have a clue. But I put this sheet up because I was teaching lessons, and then I would go to the pool and the kids would never do anything that I taught them, So I thought, well, we'll just have little races and if 5 or 10 kids sign up, we'll do it. Well, the first year I had 35, and I've had as many as 105 on the team at any one time. But if you respect them, they will respect you. You know, and the only gift I think that I have, really, is first of all that they know that I really do love them and I really do care about them. Because you can't fake that. Kids are like animals, you know. They know if you're a dog person or a cat person, or they know if you don't really care for them for any particular reason. And I do really love them, and I believe in them.
She doesn't just teach them how to swim. She hugs them and gives them kisses, and she just loves them. And it makes her happy to see that they are happy, and to see that they can, you know, they go from at the beginning of the lesson afraid and not being able to swim to at the end of the lesson jumping off the diving platform and kicking for all they're worth till they get to her, and then they come up out of the water and they break out into a huge smile, and she just gives them a big old hug and says, "I knew you could do it, I knew you could do it." And it's just, you know, it's just really sweet to watch.
I've been with this lady for over 44 years. That was 1968? 67.
Late 67.
So we've been together, and I thank the good Lord that He brought her into my life, because without her, my life would have been useless, unfulfilled. But fortunately, God shined His light on me, and lo and behold, I still have her after 40-some years.
Jim and Pat have been together for definitely as long as I can remember. She was 16 when they met each other. And I think they were married by the age of 18.
Yeah, I think she had just turned 18.
Yeah, and they've been married ever since. I still remember the last swim meet we had before Mr. Jim was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He was sick that day, but we all just thought it was the flu. He came to the meet, but he had to leave early, and we just assumed he'd get better. But the next day, he ended up in the hospital. And a couple days later,
all the tests that were wrong.
Yeah, just a few days later, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and it was a huge shock for everybody.
Our story has gone on for over a year now, and people have heard bits and pieces throughout this whole thing, and I reacted differently to different things. I got different bits of information through us. Trying to get through this insurance thing is really, really a tough thing. We took a big hit. But it could have been a disastrous hit. I mean, I look at it now and I think, our house is worth probably $175,000 or something. And Jim's medical bills were at least twice that. You look around and everything that I own would have been half of what his bills would have been with no insurance. My husband was stuck in a job. Jim worked for this company for 43 years, and he may have never left it, but he had no choice, because once I got sick, I was uninsurable. Because at that time, the company's pre-existing condition. The drugs for MS that I'm currently choosing not to take because I have a progressive type of the disease, secondary progressive, and most of them do best with intermittent remittent. And as they tell me, I'm on the cusp of any of this drug stuff helping me. But they're $1,000 a month. And Jim and I we probably have, if we didn't have insurance, it would probably be $1,500 a month. Just our prescriptions alone. So, I've had to do some things that probably the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. I had to go make arrangements with hospice, and I have to go make arrangements at the funeral home, and I haven't had the guts to do that one yet. I will. Probably another couple weeks I will. But I haven't had the guts to do it. I think the hardest thing for us through a lot of this has been the difficulty of trying to maneuver your way through a maze of paperwork and trying to understand Social Security disability and health insurance changes, and do you retire or do you go on long-term disability, and if you retire early, then what happens with your Social Security? And then you find out that if he dies, Jim has a program at work where you could choose how much of your retirement your spouse would get. 50%, 75%, or 100% when you died. Well, obviously, Jim wants me to get 100% because he will never see basically any of it. And then, but then we have to pay $1,500 a month for health insurance. Now, that may not be a lot of money to some people, but I do my little part-time swimming job, and Jim's on Social Security disability retirement. So, and we still own the house because we refinanced it to pay for college for kids. So, that's a lot of money to us. $1,500 a month is a lot of money to us.
If you didn't know that she had MS or that her husband was very ill, just in seeing her and talking to her, you would never know because she doesn't say anything about it. She just acts like everything is fine and that's just a normal course of life.
I think the weird part of this is that our day-to-day stuff really hasn't changed. I mean, it's not, we talk about it, we joke about it. I mean, and I think we can joke about Jim's illness because I've always joked about mine. My standard line is hire the handicap or fun to watch, you know, when I do stupid stuff.
Miss Pat is one of the main reasons I am who I am today. She is like my second mother. You know, she's always been there for me. I started swimming with her when I was 2 and you were 5. And she's my inspiration in everything that she does. You know, you look at her and you see a woman who's handicapped and in a wheelchair, but that's not who she sees. She sees the strong, independent woman who can do anything. You know, and that's her mindset. She's just that mentally strong, you know, to be able to think that way and just do whatever she wants.
Yeah, no matter what happens to her in the future, I know she's going to make it through. She always finds a way, no matter what. And that's what I love so much about her. She doesn't believe in giving up.
I remember on Jim's last birthday, they were on their way to a birthday dinner that they were having for him.
He was in a not very nice mood. And he was picking on my driving. And he's like, well, we can go over here and you go over there. I said, Jim, stop. Just stop. Stop picking on my driving. And he goes, just turn this car around. Just turn this car around and take me home right now. And I looked at him and I said, turn around and take you home? Hell, I'll pull this car over and you can walk your dying ass home. And then we started laughing and it was funny, you know. It was funny. It's still funny. It's still funny. It's so funny.
It just shows the humor that they have with each other and how comfortable they are after all these years of marriage.
My dearest Jim, how do I ever begin to thank you for this wonderful journey that has been our lives? No matter what I've done, you've been my wingman, always putting me, our children, and our grandchildren ahead of yourself. You are the most unselfish person I know, and you have always belonged to me. You are the definition of courage. What you went through to be able to see Michael get married was nothing short of miraculous. I know how blessed I am to have a man that has always accepted me just as I am. You have always made me feel loved and beautiful. It didn't matter to you how much I weighed or even if I could walk. I need you to know that you have made me happy. You are the peas to my carrots, the icing on my cake.
Yeah.
You are the bubbles in my bath. You are my Iron Man. You are, and forever and always will be, the love of my life. That be our story.